Welcome to the D-Files, the official podcast of Beefy, the multi-chain yield optimizer located on 21 different chains. I'm your host, Jorge, and today I am joined by TBC from Beefy and Keela from Retro Finance. And we're going to be teeing up a lot of different subjects to keep you informed. Just letting you know, nothing here is financial advice or legal advice. So if you need either of those things, maybe you should consult a financial advisor or a lawyer. Anyways, that being said, first topic to go over, for sure, especially after not having uploaded for a little while, is the victory for XRP, as it appears that the case has ended for now, and Judge Torres has essentially ruled that XRP itself is not a security, but that it can be part of an investment contract. In this case, XRP's issuance for the accredited investors is considered the issuance of a security. However, and this is the biggest part of the case, when people are buying, selling, and trading it on exchanges, that in itself is not a securities offering. This is huge news. Every single exchange, or all the big ones anyways, have relisted XRP as a result. And I want to take it to you two. As individuals, as entrepreneurs within the space, what are your thoughts on the ruling? And do you think that the SEC maybe has any firepower going forward?
Does it have any firepower? I mean, yes. And also, let's not forget that they're also appealing the ruling, and so we'll still have to see what happens there. But I think that if this ruling stands, or if it's upheld, like this is set like a really good precedent for other cryptocurrencies or just other projects in general. It sets a positive precedent, and it's kind of giving us a path forward on how projects should launch and what they shouldn't do. So what they should and shouldn't do. I mean, I think that one thing that maybe let's let TBC kind of go in here a little bit as well before I talk.
Who holds XRP? Like seriously, I don't know. I might have like 10 of them stuck in a wallet somewhere from way back in the day, because don't you have to have like 10 XRP in your wallet in order to use it? Or do I not know how to work crypto?
You could be a little bit of both.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Can we just edit that out so I don't look? It's really early in the morning. XRP, man. I don't even know. This is one of the most fascinating things out there. We got a lot of people wasting a lot of money to go after Ripple, which does what?
It's payments, bro.
Who?
Fast payments. You don't know this?
What? Do you use it?
No.
Do you know anybody that uses it?
I mean, yeah, I was living in Puerto Rico for a while, and there's a bunch of those crypto bros that come to these crypto meetups, and they say like, "Bro, let me see your Coinbase account."
What?
And I'm like, I don't have.
Yeah,
that's a
people
thing.
Are like, let me see your Coinbase account.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
that's a thing.
Well, I mean, like when I first started getting into crypto, I was very naive and I didn't know what I was doing. Not to offend anyone who uses XRP, but it was like the first crypto I bought, and I watched it all the way to the ground.
Right. You go in.
That was my
experience.
You buy
Bitcoin, and then you're like, all right. Oh, what else could I buy? Oh, Ethereum. That's too expensive. What's this XRP? All the bros on crypto Twitter are like, it's an XRP. So then you buy some XRP, and then you realize, what? Why did I buy this?
Yeah. And I think you make a good point. I think they had an excuse for like the last two or 3 years while this case was undergoing of not really doing anything. But now that the lawsuit is kind of finished, they're gonna have to do something to remain relevant.
Seriously,
yeah.
Okay, good job, XRP. You came out 5 years ago or whatever it is now, and you've done what? I have seen chains pop up, blow up, and self-destruct in months and provide more value than XRP has to this industry
I agree. I mean, look, their shackles are now kind of released, so let's see what they do. I don't have much confidence in it, but I think that it was fantastic that they were able to kind of bear the brunt of a lot of the legal costs
Hmm.
for the industry. So, I mean, hey, I think respect for that. Because of them, we'll have better idea of what we can and can't do, and also the fact that they won, it kind of puts the SEC's approach under scrutiny. I think like now people, I mean, of course, over the last few months, people were already questioning the SEC, but now
Hmm.
even more so.
Yeah, I think for me the big thing here, and I'm not a lawyer, you should definitely follow Meta Lawman if you want to get more details. But I think that the big thing here is that in the US, everything is based on precedent, based on a previous case. So I think what's huge here is that now all the lawsuits that the SEC has filed against, say, Coinbase and I guess I forget that one that closed down from Washington, whatever the case may be, they're going to pull this up and say, well, you're saying all these things are securities, right? But, and you'll forgive me, but as I understand it, XRP is not extremely decentralized, versus something like Ethereum, Bitcoin, maybe even Cardano
No,
and
no.
other layer one blockchains. So I think that this is an opportunity for all those other litigants just to be like, you know what? This judge says that you're wrong. And then if you're a judge sitting down, the hardest thing you could do is to create some type of new precedent. That's a lot of pressure because you know that all the cases ahead are going to use your voice in that case. Now, here, he's going to look at someone else and be like, I don't know. This lady from the Southern District of New York, where most financial crime, by the way, some of the most high profile financial crime is litigated, says that crypto in itself is not a security and that only the people that did the initial coin offering is a security. So maybe all those different tokens that they listed are just going to have to pay a fine and then we move on. And so we could see the industry flourish in the US. So I'm not too knowledgeable about XRP personally, and I'm not all that interested, but
I,
I'm very thankful that they pushed through this case and against all odds got the best possible ruling.
and I think you
So
mentioned,
kudos to them.
yeah, you mentioned something good. Is like it may give people more confidence of continuing to build and remaining in the United States, because I think
Mm-hmm.
for a while, like the global competitiveness or like the desire to maybe leave the United States or not even build here was continuing to grow, and so this type of news, as well as news about the new kind of crypto friendly bill
Oh.
that came out, is at least a good sign, or can give people confidence.
And that's an
Wait, hold
excellent
on, man. Hold
segue.
on a
So
second, man. Just
TBC wants to
yeah.
say
I mean, what?
things? What a
I
crazy
just
turn
want
of
to point out,
events.
like, how stupid we all are. Okay, how stupid this world is. How stupid this whole system is. The whole purpose of crypto is just to create something that can't be controlled by people, and here we are just praising the accolades of one single judge for fighting the monolithic governmental bureaucracy that exists. It's a bunch of horse crap.
Yeah,
It's like we're what Keela's over there. It's like, well, it's good that they told us what we can and can't do. No, the purpose of crypto was they can't tell us what to do, and yet here
yeah,
we
yeah,
are. Here
but
we
look,
are,
Right.
slowly being weathered down so that we
no,
could
but
play their
okay,
game by their rules instead of telling them to suck it every opportunity we can. All you have to do is
yeah, but
what?
I think we did this to ourselves.
What?
We
I
did
don't
it to
work for
ourselves,
XRP,
honestly.
right?
No, no, no,
I'm
not that
not.
you work for XRP, but like regulation is always like this dirty word. But let's be honest here. We put a lot of this on ourselves. It's kind of embarrassing to see what has
Mm-hmm.
transpired over the last year or two within the space.
This the
I
space is an
mean,
infant. It's
we're
it's still trying to figure out how to
okay.
crawl, and we're sitting here. Oh, we're concerned about scammers. There's always been
Yeah,
scammers.
but
There will
okay,
always be scammers, right? Write better
okay,
code.
yes, but
That's
then
it.
we're making it
Write
easy.
better
Well, I
code.
mean, yeah, okay, it can be right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be that as well. But when you're driving, do you drive the
No,
speed limit? You
don't
drive
try
the
to throw
speed.
fallacies at me here for a second. I'm not getting into the speed limit argument, right? We're not doing that.
Okay,
It's
fine.
not
We
like
won't get into that one.
regulation.
But
Regulation doesn't make
we have
anything
made it.
better, Keela. All it does is it gives an opportunity for those who have control of the
Well, it
regulation
does.
to control the rest of us.
It
Regulation,
so
at the end of the day, is always there to restrict access and to control competition. That's all it is. It prevents little guys from popping up because they don't have millions of dollars to pay lawyers to get involved in the big game. These people want control over the system. That's all they're doing right now. That's why they're going after all these people, because they know.
I'm not saying that I love regulation. What I'm saying is that we made it easy for the suits to want to regulate.
Who cares? How do you?
Okay, but who cares?
How are they going to regulate Bitcoin?
So
How?
tell. No, I'm not saying that they can.
Okay,
regulate
that's the
Bitcoin.
that's the thing I'm trying to
there's-
remind you is they can't regulate this if we just ignore them. People all need to be a bit more agoristic about this whole situation and actually go back to the founding principles of crypto in the first place, because all we're doing is we're just giving them exactly what they want. They have an infinite amount of money that they could use in their own legal systems, no matter what country it is, to sue whoever, whatever, throw whoever they want in jail. And it's all because they know they can't control the system.
Yeah. So, do you want to go and sit in jail? I mean, you're saying this as a luxury. I don't know where the you live in the world, but if you're living in the United States, or
next
something
door.
Like that, yeah.
Why don't you come on over tonight? I'm making fettuccine Alfredo, and I have some candles.
DM me your address.
You got it, baby.
But I mean, if you're living in the U.S.,
TBC, you probably use Ragu.
Shut up,
You're
man,
a
dude.
Ragu
he does it. He
Damn
sounds
you. That's
he sounds like a TV dinner
wow,
type of
dude,
guy.
Yeah,
I can see you guys don't hang out in our in Wezo and Mai's smoked beef and fancy dinners Discord. If you guys out there in the audience are interested, yeah, Keela, that's right. I know how to cook. What do you want to come on over?
All right.
You know,
All right. So one of
making
these days,
ramen.
I will come
one of
on.
these days.
I will come on over. I mean, look, yes, I'm not in favor of regulation, but if if we're living in a society that can, destroy your life if you do not abide by their
that's the
rules,
purpose of crypto,
like,
right?
okay,
Is to change that society.
Well, I think
Instead,
what
we're all just going backwards.
Keela's
on it.
trying to maybe illustrate here is that, we did put ourselves in a position where, like, a government entity or organization, I think basically what happened is they knew that some bad stuff would eventually happen, and they let it happen so they can come in and then send to the voting populace like, hey, we're the saviors, we're trying to make this space better, and so on. And really, if it were up to me, I think the right action would be is simply give the tools to just go after the bad actors in the space, which is a very small subset of people. And unfortunately, a lot of the larger, we basically witnessed a huge amount of bad actors in a very small amount of time. Alex Mashinsky, scammed tons of people.
Yep.
FTX, although I'm waiting for more information, but I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire. Do Kwon and the Terra Luna collapse, and there should be consequences if you are out there, hurting people. People lost their life savings. Some people committed suicide. Maybe even some people watching this had a family member or a friend that was hurt. I mean, I'm very sympathetic to that.
But you guys
I don't
think
know.
government can protect people from that?
what I am saying is, look,
they could at least throw someone in jail.
okay.
they can throw people
Also,
in jail.
why
and
does
kind of,
jail
like,
make
that-
sense? Can
that-
we just stop for a second, right? Like, hi, I'm a bad guy. I
that's
hurt
a
you and
different
your family, right? And now your government's going to throw me in jail, so now your tax dollars could pay to house me in that jail. Shouldn't you be I don't know, instead of being throwing that person in jail, force them to work off their debt to you over a long period of time and double that debt so that you actually receive not just your payback but also compensation for your loss? Look at here I am
sure.
reforming
Sure.
the
Yeah.
prison industrial complex, and you guys are all just like, let's just keep look, new ideas is what it's about.
No,
Jorge, come on,
Okay.
that's what crypto was about. It's a new idea.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
but
fair enough.
But the
fair
thing,
enough.
but the thing
Okay.
is that harsh punishment, whatever it may be, whether it's jail, whether it's fucking fines, or whatever it is, it needs to be there. Otherwise, you continue to get people just doing fuckery and not.
Okay, but my argument is that
and
the
not
fact that the government is there is the reason that punishments haven't been handed out yet, right? Like, we're all relying on authorities to step in and do our work for us when we should be the ones holding these people accountable and going after them. You think SBF?
Okay, how do you suggest
who
we
could
do
touch
that?
SBF? Anyone? There's. All right, we'll save it for the end.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
so,
look, I guess I'll just like say this last thing. Of course, there's big powers at play that don't want to lose or don't want to let go of money creation or money movement, all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is that, to be fair, we did kind of play right into their hands and make them look like the good guys, and us crypto people as so the bad guys or scam artists a lot of times, at least to the broader public, people within DeFi, all that kind of stuff. We know what's up. But now, because of all of this, I think it doesn't hurt to really hope and try and help to create regulation that is are sensible and can bring in new players. Because I think if there is real regulation, now you can start getting institutional money that comes in, and we're not just circle jerking with the same money all the time within DeFi, and you have new flow of cash coming in. Because I mean, that's how you're actually going to grow. I want to see Beefy token price go up, but unless there's new money coming into DeFi, where's it going to come from?
very good point. And now I think this is a good moment to change the subject and segue into maybe something a little bit different. We can come back to politics in a bit. So the next thing I wanted to chat about with you guys is, speaking of crypto and speaking of Bitcoin. So recently, BlackRock released a really interesting report. It's called the Asset Allocation with Crypto Application of Preferences for Positive Skewness. And so the formula that is traditionally used by BlackRock to measure a 60-40 equity and bond portfolio produced a risk aversion of Y is equal to 1.5, which according to this means that the optimal allocation for Bitcoin in a given portfolio is 84.9%. So the largest asset manager in the world has researchers that are suggesting that you should essentially hold 84% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. I mean,
sounds like they're off by 15%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So especially what I'm curious to know is, when they're using this type of mathematics to show the rising price action over time and the returns in given cycles and given periods, then chances are there's probably that same equation could probably be applied to ETH and get you a similar weight in a portfolio. So I'm interested to see what you both think now that we have the largest asset manager in the world slowly turning into a degen.
You want to take it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to BlackRock, hey, we're BlackRock. We own the world. We own all the land. We're evil. Whatever the point. I don't know. I don't have a clue what you just said there. You sound like you're reading calculus to me, and I don't care. But should you be diversified with Bitcoin? I think it's probably one of the. I don't even think that's like financial advice anymore. I think that's like you probably should just be there at this point, because it's obvious that it's not going away, and all these people, whether it was BlackRock or any of these banks, they all at the beginning were like, Bitcoin is just a scam. I mean, we still got people coming out and saying it, right? But then it turns out, hey, we're gonna open up an ETF for Bitcoin, and we suggest our holders have it, and we're going to put together a fund for Bitcoin, and everybody wants to hold it because they realize there's a market in there. And remember, a lot of these people, these projects, these companies, they all make their money off of fees anyway. Mm-hmm. So there's
I don't know if it's like they just now came to the realization. I think a lot of these are the type of people.
They were manipulating, of course, the whole time. Yeah,
of course.
And now they
you should
now
on
that
something.
they have their bags, they're like, okay, suckers, you go out and buy your bags, right? So, I mean, it's no surprise. It's just, but the 84% is kind of that's kind of ridiculous, because you wouldn't expect any portfolio manager to say 84% of your in anything.
Of course,
I
100% agree with that.
I think, again, though, doing back testing and running through analysis, I don't think that they will end up doing something along those lines. But I mean, it is one of the highest performing assets
ever
over the last ever, and maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think also it's not an indicator, like you said, that BlackRock is going to dump. There's more value to certain equities or having a large weight of equities that circulate for a given company, like having voting shares or being able to have a large influence, because, hey, that guy has 9% of your business. You definitely don't want them to dump 9% of your business when you're a CEO and so much of your compensation is based on how the stock performs. So influence is also extremely valuable, but I think it's a good sign, because we're going into this era where people are able to be custodians of their own assets, can be their own bank. And now there's researchers saying that maybe this is the time to start holding your portfolio with Bitcoin, some Bitcoin, or a large amount of Bitcoin. So at least it's encouraging to me, because maybe we could hit a future where we don't need to be in a world with, fractional reserve banking. People can hold their own assets and be their own,
write that down. Jorge says buy Bitcoin.
The self-reliant person,
I mean,
good
that
advice.
would be
Good financial advice, Jorge. Yeah.
Nothing here. All right.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful world where it becomes easier and easier for people to actually become their own bank. I think it's easy for us, like people on this call right now, because we understand how to do it. There's still quite a few people who don't know how to get their hands on Bitcoin, which is why you started seeing ungodly premiums for Bitcoin from like Grayscale or something along those lines back in the day. But yeah, hold BTC. I think right now though it's still probably it's still very volatile. So if it's your core holding, you're just gonna have to really be, or have at least the stomach to handle that type of volatility. If you're in your later stages in life and you're looking to retire and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. Like, is it best to hold on to that type of asset?
Right.
If you're young, chipper, and young, what is it? Young, dumb, and full of then sure.
Hey,
go 100%.
That is the first time in my life I've heard that. We should I think, Keelan, I'm gonna have to get you a T-shirt that says that. After this, you got to give me a PO box. I'll mail it to you.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, you got to be young, huh? All right. Anyway, but I mean, like most people in crypto, anyway. It's not like your grandma has figured this out yet. I mean, no. If you heard about Bitcoin, as most people have, I guess Jorge says buy it. Stock up, stack your bags. Let's pump this together, right? Bull run. 2020,
yeah, but
2024, baby. We're going to the moon. Bitcoin maxes everywhere. Let's do it.
Yeah, people always use the grandmother analogy, but even if you were to go to like the supermarket, oftentimes, and you're talking to somebody who's checking out your groceries, likely they won't even know.
Because they work at a supermarket, Keela.
Yeah, okay.
No offense to
they
the
deserve to have their
works
own
at a supermarket.
They deserve to be their own bank as well.
Agreed. I mean,
right.
Listen. I mean, think about it, right? If you are a business, small business, right? The large majority of your expenses go out to paying credit card companies, right? In fees, just for having the service of credit card. And I just every day, I watch people do this. I'm like, damn, dude, Bitcoin fixes this, right? It does, but we're not at the point where we're using BTC as cash in most parts of the world, because it's still going to make us all rich. Now
there's that, but there's also like the volatility. If I'm paying, or if we settle on a price like say $10,000 for a service, right? Say Beefy consults me for I don't know, my sexual appeal.
Yes.
For events,
money well spent.
And we agree on a price of $10,000, because again, life world kind of works in dollars. Yeah, you could send me BTC, but by the time you get the invoice and you send it, maybe BTC has gone up, maybe it's gone down. I will feel cheated if it's like, now I'm getting $8,500 for my time. You'll feel cheated if you're paying me $12,000 for your time, or for my time. And so, I mean, there's also that element of
Keela, this is
why it can
just
be
simply
difficult.
because you view the world in dollars instead of
Correct,
sats,
but
man. We
everybody,
gotta change.
yeah.
We're
I mean,
changing the narrative, Keela.
I honestly,
Freedom.
I
Be your own bank.
I
Make war
have,
unaffordable. Stack them sats, man. Something about the Lightning
have
Network because I don't quite understand Bitcoin.
Lightning network is the future, bro. I have a filter actually that shows me my portfolio in Zimbabwean currency, just so I can feel a little bit richer. So I actually don't even think
You got
in
you
dollars.
got $100 trillion bill from Zimbabwe.
Well, you,
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
well, wait till you do that in Venezuelan bolivars.
Maybe.
That's the highest. I think that's the highest rate of inflation in the world. But I'd like to segue into a different topic. So we're talking about adoption at this point. So one thing I wanted to chat about is the elephant in the room, especially as crypto people. Twitter is now X. Elon Musk is finally
Crypto
starting
X,
this
baby.
Long
Cryptox.
into this into this journey into turning Twitter into a super app or the everything app. Basically, based on a couple interviews he's had and during his trips in China, he is quoted as saying things along the lines of, that WeChat is a very useful app. It's essentially like a payment integration infrastructure, social media slash, even ride sharing. It basically is an app that lets you do everything. And I think that's what Elon's trying to do. But for the purposes of this podcast, I think the end game that everyone is looking at is the possible integration of crypto payments or using the app as a crypto payments app. So don't know what that means for XRP for anyone viewing, but just
Or the Lightning Network.
but the richest man in the world, I think looks pretty likely to use
richest man
Doge
that
and
we talk
Bitcoin
about.
and ETH, if you ask me.
Let's just, he's not the richest.
That's true.
We'll save that one.
Exactly.
That
That's
is
our late
true.
night podcast. Who's really the richest people out? Anyway, who am I to tell Elon Musk how to make money? All right, I'm not a billionaire yet, or soon. I got that Bitcoin bag and a couple XRP stored, so just in case.
Don't forget your Beefy.
I don't get the rebranding at all. I mean, I know it was his dream to have X like for 20 some years now. Okay, I don't know exactly what that vision is, but Twitter is one of the biggest brands in the world, and to swap it overnight. I don't know. Someone mentioned that X should have been like the holding company, right? You probably don't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If you could buy, I don't know, Apple, Nike, whatever, right? Because you're that rich. Do you then change the brand?
If you are pivoting slightly to something else, then maybe so, because then the brand is tied to one train of thought and the one way of thinking about the product. If you're trying to change the product up a little bit, then yeah. I mean, also, like you said, who the fuck are we to tell somebody who spent $44 billion on like buying this thing what he can and can't do with the name? And when you have that type of fuck you money, it is one of those things where it's like, does it really matter? What's the difference? What is the material difference, or like of having the name Twitter versus X? We're all going to end up still using
Sure.
X. It doesn't change. It doesn't change that. It just makes a little bit getting used to calling it X or seeing the logo as X instead of like the blue
let me just
bird.
tell you, man, my tabs, dude, I just cannot figure them out. It's like
No, that's been the worst thing. But I don't think it's going. I don't
the
think
only
that's
thing
going
that
to deter
matters.
people.
that tab logo. You know how many tabs? Dude, I know you have like a million tabs open. We all do. You're in crypto, you work in crypto, you got 12 zillion tabs open, and you never want to restart your computer because you're like, I'm going to lose all these windows. And anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up.
Yeah.
But dude.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, yeah, it's not changing the name doesn't mean anything in terms of for the users. The users still get the same experience. We're not gonna really go anywhere. I think the thing with the movement towards the everything app is like we're starting to see a little bit more competition for Twitter with threads and whatnot. And I think that also Twitter needs to find a way to become more profitable. And I think having payments through any type of any type of app is a huge way to be able to, generate some revenue and generate some volume.
But we should take a minute to talk about how broken Twitter is right now. Or I'm sorry, X. There's been serious. I don't know. I don't know what's really happened with the algorithm at this point. I mean, people are just struggling for the same type of attention that they used to get. And then on top of it, I mean, if you're in crypto and you have an actual project, or even if you're just a popular name, dude, go check your comments. I mean, you probably can't see them because the scammers have blocked you, but the attacks that are coming now are probably more than they have ever been. Just the amount of scammers and knockoffs, and it's getting to the point where it's pretty ridiculous, and your account doesn't work like it used to. You're struggling to get the attention that you've always had, and maybe that's just because crypto Twitter is dead. Maybe that's because, if you're not talking about some sort of political issue or some transgender topics, the market's not there for you anymore. I don't know, but it's definitely a struggle, and maybe they're just trying to push us crypto bros off of the X app altogether.
Where do we go? Lens?
Oh God, I can't figure out Lens. I've been playing with D-Bank. I like that I could buy someone's attention. That's nice.
Well, I will say that based on some of the things he's alluded to, it seems like this is going to be some more financially driven changes to the app itself. So as I understand it, the idea is to basically bring all the payment rails onto Twitter and then potentially integrate a lot of these, different varying cryptocurrencies into that system. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I think like some really cool changes maybe that they could do to integrate crypto better would be like, if your Twitter handle could just link up to your wallet. So if someone wanted to like tip you in BTC, ETH, Dogecoin, or whatever, then, then they can just kind of put your Twitter handle in like maybe the app itself, and then boom, you just send people crypto. And I think stuff like that is actually a game changer. Though it'll be interesting to see like
or
if stuff like that is integrated.
You could take a picture of your eyeball as your profile picture, and then, and then people could just scan your eyeball to send you some money. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we'll get there. We will get there. But the long story short, I think that I'm just gonna say I'm not like one of these people that thinks Elon Musk is right all the time. But if you're a gambling man, he wins more than he loses. So I'm still pretty optimistic overall for Twitter, and we'll see how things go. But I agree with you. Lately, Twitter does feel a bit clunky, and sometimes it just seems to put information that's like meant to shock me sometimes. And I'm just like, I just want to see what the DeFi protocols are doing. Yeah. Can you just can you stop doing that? But I digress. So I guess TBC brought up a really good point here. Let's dive into everyone's new favorite crypto project, WorldCoin. Put your eye into the orb, get yourself a new WorldCoin wallet, and get airdropped some WorldCoin coins.
Keela, man, how much W WorldCoin you got over there?
I went to a WorldCoin.
Oh my God, he's an insider.
At ECC, I held an orb actually, but I closed my eyes while I was looking.
Dude, they've been scanning you the minute you walked in that room.
No, I told them that they could like do not scan me. I'll try and find the picture.
Oh my God, dude, they got you, dude. They got you.
Oh. No, they didn't.
So for me, the thing that I find ironic is that this thing is started by Sam Altman.
Yep. Right,
the guy that does ChatGPT and brings this whole world of potential fake humans onto the internet. Meanwhile, he basically, it's kind of like, here, I'm releasing the problem. I'm bringing the disease everywhere, and guess what? I'm also the guy who's bringing you the cure. Like classic, almost like classic evil capitalism. There's someone in the background watching the show scream some socialism.
Dude, wait, you were holding a gigantic Christmas tree ornament. That's an orb. What the hell is an orb? I don't know anything about WorldCoin.
Wait, show that picture again for the audience.
Yeah.
That's
the ball. That's the ball.
Wait. Move it a little to the side.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, that's the ball.
So what was it like going to the event? How were the folks that worked for WorldCoin?
I mean, it
Was
wasn't
it like was there incense and they were dressed in robes and they're like, "Welcome, Keela. Thanks
No,
for
it
coming
just it
today.
didn't have.
Please sit down right here. Why don't
I
you
don't know.
look
It just
directly
didn't have like
into my
a.
eyes?"
TBC, I love you. No, it didn't have. It didn't have like a really welcoming vibe. It was just one of those events. They had free food and free drink and a bunch of people talking. The people I talked to from WorldCoin, they like basically their role is to try and get people to sign up in different locations. Like, so I think maybe Portugal is one of the highest, has one of the highest sign up rates. There was a guy that had basically an office where they have the ball in Singapore as well, I think, where people will go and get their iris rung. The event was fine. The whole project in my eyes is a little bit intrusive, and also Sam Altman rubbed me the wrong way.
Whoa.
When
Hey now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now we know that Sam Altman rubbed you.
Yes.
Now, can you go ahead and dive into this rubbing?
Yeah. So I like rubbing clockwise. Right. He rubbed me the wrong way. When he changed OpenAI from a non-profit into a for-profit, everything like that, I already thought like, all right, well, this dude has other motives than what initially he tried to portray.
Right. 100%. I think like that's what I mean. Like we basically have two different projects that are solving, I guess, problems. One is trying to make things incredibly efficient with the cost being human labor and production, in theory, while the other is trying to create a method by which people can prove they're human online. Now, to that extent, it probably will work for that. But my concern is that when you're proving that you're human in this method, now you have you're essentially giving up your biometric data and hoping that this data is being saved in like
Not
some kind
used
of
by AI to
presumably decentralized, safe way. And I think there's also the possibility that these backers want to use this data. Like, this is a $25 billion project. Like, according to CoinGecko, right now, the market cap, although it's 108 million, don't be fooled. The fully diluted market cap is 22 billion. So these people have tons of money.
It sounds like a good degen project right there. It's like 2021 all over again.
This isn't financial advice, but if the market cap is way lower than the fully diluted, just Google what that means, I guess. But probably shouldn't do it. Not financial advice. Do your own thing. Buy your WorldCoin if you want.
Don't
I'm
do
not.
that. What the hell's the matter with you, Jorge? Tell people to buy WorldCoin?
No.
Doesn't
Wait,
Bitcoin fix
I wouldn't touch it.
Where's our Maxes in
don't
the
you
audience?
don't you
Comment below if you think Bitcoin fixes it.
do you buy your WorldCoin? I thought you get it when you get your iris scanned.
Well, how much do you get? Is anyone's eyeball worth more money than someone else's eyeball?
You can buy it, and there's also going to be people receiving an airdrop.
Dude.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, look, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So, they've got enough money, they've got enough backing. Sam Altman is part of this project, so all the connections in the world he has. So, it's like one of those things where we can pout and complain all we want, but it's likely gonna do decent.
Let me ask you this question. Here's the bet. The bet is, will this podcast outlive WorldCoin? Will it be like 6 months from now and Jorge's gonna be like, all right guys, today we're gonna talk about the collapse of WorldCoin and where all your retinas ended up being. We're gonna
That's this is a real possibility. I mean, it's because this industry goes in cycles, but I would probably gamble that it's going to do pretty decent. The halvening is what, like 9 months away, 8 months away, and that just screams that the degens are going to come back once Bitcoin goes into its great pumping again, and all that jazz. So I would gamble that it's probably going to do fine But if we're strictly talking about trading,
Wait,
then
did BlackRock
in the
say
short
how
term,
much portfolio you should have in WorldCoin? Like, was that the other 15%?
they probably have their meetups in some random spot in California where everybody wears robes and everybody has an allocation of WorldCoin. You know, that could be the case.
What's that Bohemian? Was that Bohemian Grove? What is it?
I don't remember, but I don't want our YouTube channel to suddenly get taken down.
Oh,
And then slowly each of us disappear into the nether, whatever that is.
Gila, he's already one of them, so he's okay.
I did not get my eye scanned, unless they scanned it unknowingly.
They got lasers all over.
But I didn't
the
get my
place.
eye scanned.
You ever walk in a casino, Keela?
I've been in many
Yeah,
casinos.
You got scanned. They got you.
Yeah.
They got us all.
So
You've been to plenty of
that
airports.
is a possibility.
So
I mean,
your whole full body's been scanned.
Yeah, honestly, yes. And then likely as we grow and as technology gets better and everything along those lines, when babies are born, they're going to get scanned and we're just going to have to deal with it. And, you know, there's going to be a few of us, like me, TBC, and Jorge, and a couple others, trying to live on an island that rejects all of these
Eating
things.
goat,
But
you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah.
eating goat.
Cabra.
and
Where
check out the last episode for Keela's goat diet. Anyways, so speaking of what countries can and may let you do or whatnot,
It's a good transition.
So one of the big pieces of news is that Sam Bankman-Fried has escaped for now some campaign finance charges, which I just.
Yeah, of course he did.
So the president is a Democrat. The second largest donor in the primaries for the Democrats is Sam Bankman-Fried. In fairness, his counterpart donated to Republicans, and he claims that he donated the same amount, but that it was all dark. So full disclosure, in fairness. And what's interesting here is that they're saying, hold on. Okay, so they're saying here that because of the Bohemian arrest, essentially they have to drop this campaign charge on behest of the Bohemian government. But I that just seems kind of odd. It doesn't mean they can't charge him for it. It says here, the DOJ said that the government of the Bahamas had informed the U.S. government that it had not included the campaign finance charge in its arrest warrant and extradition document. So because they didn't put it on the document, they can't charge them, Sam Bankman-Fried, on this case. But I just find that kind of odd. I feel like, if you're the Bahamas and you're the United States, I don't know. That it just seems very fishy to me.
Listen, the valuable lesson we all need to take away from this is if you have money, all right, you have to make sure you give money to both sides, okay?
Yes.
To both sides of the uni party, so they both are happy enough to cover you when they
correct
eventually have to arrest you to keep the public temporarily at bay, and then after a while, they'll just let it go because the public has moved on to other things like they're releasing aliens. So there you have it. So that's your valuable lesson for those of you who have enough money. You have to play both sides, like every bank ever.
Hedge your bets.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's all it is. If you look at Jorge, if you want to look, you could go through the last 5 to 10 major elections in the United States, and you realize that the top donors on both sides are the same people always. I mean, it's no big deal. It's just how it works, and I'm sure Sam was just doing that. I'm sure there was nothing other nefarious going on. He was smart enough to play both sides, and that there was nothing nefarious going on whatsoever. There was, right? Nothing at all.
For me, the thing that's really disappointing is that was other people's money that was basically being used for campaigns and whatever. And I just think like people deserve justice.
Doesn't this go against the point, though, that the two of you were kind of arguing for regulation in the first place? Because if there isn't a single person in crypto over the last year that deserves it more than SBF, the whole idea of regulation is just kind of imbecilic, right? We're relying on government to punish the bad actors. SBF is a bad actor, and here he is, being
Okay, but
I'll play the counter here, and just to give an example, like regulations can help. Like in Japan, for example, when FTX collapsed, Japan was the only market that FTX operated in where all customer funds were able to be returned to users at ease. And so it kind of shows that there is room for people to create that kind of guidance, and then we're not forced in the United States to be like, well, I want access to this shitcoin that's like number 1005 or whatever, and I got to go on to this shady exchange and whatever. And I mean, I think like the lack of regulation just gave like Sam Bankman-Fried, who is, although a nefarious and bad person, an intelligent, nefarious, bad person who's able to figure out how to play both sides, like you said, and also like make sure that he was under the radar. I mean, Maxine Waters, who does not want to pass any regulations and thinks the SEC is fine, even though they let all these bad things happen, blew Sam Bankman-Fried a kiss.
Oh, yeah. A kiss.
A kiss. Oh. So, I mean, I just think that it's weird that the reaction after everything is from, and normally in my experience,
what are you talking about? The reaction
are like, I want to put regulations.
Everybody realizes we're all being screwed over here, right? I know, like, listen, FTX collapsing is obviously a terrible thing. Lots of people lost money. I agree, right? However, the upside is that everybody is starting to wake up to this overarching scam that is just going after us. They don't care about you. They never have. They never will, right? You don't matter to them. The uniparties in this country and every other country are there to oversee the theft of your labor and your property, and that is it. They don't care. Regulation does not protect you. The government does not protect you. None of these people care about you, and yet at the end of the day, we're all like, oh, government, please protect us. And then in 6 months, we'll be saying, I can't believe they didn't protect us from this new horrible thing to happen. I guess what we should do is ask for more government to protect us. And it's all it ever is, over and over again. Keel's over there. He's like, God damn it. This is boring ass.
No, I'm listening. I'm like, again, yes. I think that I don't want to come off as the dickhead that is asking for regulation, because I'm not. Well, you're saying that look, Sam is getting off, and he's getting off. He's getting, light treatment because there is regulation. I think the issue is maybe there wasn't regulation, and which is why
that's why he was able to buy politicians. The politicians aren't going to make regulations to prevent themselves.
Okay. I guess. Right? I guess you're correct on that.
If anybody needs to be regulated, it's government, right? No one in government's going to be like, let's take away our own power, Nah, instead, inflation, steal your money, inflation, steal your money, threaten World War III, steal your money, whatever. And we're worried about SBF, right? Listen, man, Bitcoin Maxis had it right, man. They had it right 8 years ago. And since then, all you cypher punks and crypto punks and whoever the hell you are, y'all gone soft. You had a couple bull runs in you, and now it's all about, I want to be the rich guy. Man, I thought you were in it for the revolution, man, Keelan. Now you're just sitting there, corporate shilling for Beefy, taking that money.
Yeah, that 10K that you guys sent me for
those sexy pictures
for ETC sex appeal officer.
So before we get too deep into Keela's incredible sex appeal that is overwhelming all of us here on the pod, I just wanted to end on one last subject. And so the House and Congress, they've passed a bill which provides clarity as to what the SEC is supposed to do, what the CFTC is supposed to do, and on more important and controversial terms, assures the right for individuals to self-custody their crypto, which is huge. So that basically would solidify that digitally you could make the choice to never use a bank again. And the next one, which I think is, I have mixed feelings about, would basically say that all stablecoins, every single one, needs to be backed one-to-one by US dollars, bonds, or any other high quality, extremely liquid asset. I'm really happy for the self-custody and the clarity. On the front of the stablecoins, I do think it's important that we have some type of decentralized alternative, despite everything that has happened in the crypto space. Like, we need to be able to have some kind of alternative, at least I think, so we can be a truly decentralized space. But what do you guys think?
I have a lot to say about stablecoins. Yeah, of course there needs to be decentralized options. Each stablecoin and holding of stablecoins, there's risks to any of them, right? The risks are different depending on the stablecoin that you hold. If you're holding USDC, if you're holding USDT, something along those lines, the risks are that, you know, banks go down wherever they have their money, like they can't access their money, and then you're fucked. Which is what we saw potentially gonna happen with the shutting down of Silicon Valley Bank and all that kind of stuff. When you have other decentralized stablecoins, if they're backed by certain assets, if those assets are very volatile and go down too much and whatever, very quickly, or if there's a situation, for example, like what happened on Phantom, where, you know, the main assets on the chain get hacked and are essentially deemed valueless. If a stablecoin has some backing of that, then, I mean, you could see that there may be like a depegging scenario, which is a risk that you hold when you're holding a stablecoin that has, you know, crypto as its collateral. All in all, I think that as a community, we just need to understand, and we need to maybe push education around what the risks of each stable coin are. Because, I mean, there's also stable coins that have no backing at all, and they're algorithmic and stuff along those lines. And there's ones that are coming out right now that are also have real world assets as backing, which are cool. Are they liquid? I don't know. But I think just understanding the risks of what you're holding, that's the most important piece. Decentralized stablecoins are a fucking must, because at any point, if you have a centralized one and the government or its central body wants to block you, they can. It gets away from the whole narrative of like DeFi and what TBC is talking about with you know, like the vision that, you know, Bitcoin was created upon. So yeah, there's a must for those. I don't know what it says in terms of the regulation for those that are over collateralized. If you have a stable coin like, say, DAI or LUST that is over collateralized by assets, like those assets oftentimes are decently liquid and can be sold and made whole. So I don't know what it says about that, but yeah, if they have issues with that, then I say just change the name from stablecoin into something else, and then just shoot them the middle finger.
Keel, you okay, buddy? I didn't mean to ruin your morning. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's not my morning, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your evening. I'm sorry.
It's not my evening.
Okay, whatever. I don't.
It's my afternoon.
Okay. Sorry, I'm ruining your afternoon as usual.
Maybe we haven't considered this, but perhaps Keela lives in limbo. Perhaps it's always the afternoon and things never change. He's not in heaven or hell. He's just forced to be on this podcast
maybe
forever.
He's in that machine that the orb scanned him into, you know?
That's what it is. That is some artful observation right there.
Hold on. All right. Stable coins, right? We always talk about stable coins backed by stuff. Can someone tell me what world currencies are backed by?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Military.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
there you go.
we need a crypto army to defend our stablecoin. Gotcha.
Correct.
You said so. Here we are. Once again, we always talk like kind of from an American perspective here about a lot of this stuff, which we shouldn't really do, because, you know, crypto is worldwide. We shouldn't really care so much about what Washington D.C. says about this stuff, but it is one of the leading markets that we usually stick on it. And when we sit here and say like, oh, look, they passed in a bill to protect your right to self custody. I just want to point out that this is pointless, as your right to self custody is protected by the Ninth Amendment in the Constitution. Pretty much everything out there is protected by the Ninth Amendment in the Constitution. And the fact that nobody knows what the Ninth Amendment is the reason that legislators are able to do whatever the hell they want. Yeah. So for those of you in the audience, go ahead and you could search that up right then, do some research. But next time you're out there, just say, hey, you're violating my Ninth Amendment rights. I have the right to self-custody because, that was guaranteed in the Constitution. Also, let me just, if I can for a second, remember the Constitution was not created necessarily to protect you, but to establish a ruling oligarch class over the colonies. All right, so let's just get this squared away. Next episode, I'll dive into the destruction of the Articles of Confederation and just how the Constitution was created. For your reading, you could go ahead and read Murray Rothbard, Conceived in Liberty, Volume 5, which Jorge will link in the show notes below. So go ahead and read that, and then we'll be ready for D-Files episode number 6 discussion on the creation of the American Constitution as a way to collectively destroy the American peoples.
All right. Well, that's going to be some fun reading for everyone. Anyways, I just wanted to say,
Keela, did you look up the Ninth Amendment?
All of you watching.
I did. I looked.
Basically,
it'll be on the
basically
screen.
It says everything is a right because it's not.
I'm also not gonna lie. I went to university in the United States, and there was a class that you have to take called government. I sat in that class for 1 week, and I said, no, I am not taking this here. I'm gonna go and take it at a community college where they don't care if you know the government or not. And so that's what I did. So yeah, I know the First Amendment because everybody talks about it. I know the Second Amendment because everyone talks about it.
Hey, just fun fact about the Second Amendment, right? So if they came out and they said the Second Amendment, let's say they abolish it like they did other amendments, right? And they say, okay, guns are now prohibited. Your right to own a gun is still protected under the Ninth Amendment because there's no enumerated powers in the Constitution which allow the government to take away those rights. So those of you in the audience, you get wrecked. Thank you.
All right. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching the D-Files, the official podcast of Beefy, the multi-chain yield optimizer, located on 21 different chains. And we are so excited to have Keela here today and our homeboy TBC from Beefy. And we look forward to seeing you again. Cheers.